If there is a club in the land whose supporters are more loyal, more deserving of success, or more knowledgeable on matters of football than Newcastle United's, then they've been in hiding for the past 100 years and more. It's nearly 40 years since the Magpies last won the FA Cup, and 65 since they were champions. Now there's an air of expectancy on Tyneside. In just 18 months, Kevin Keegan has brought the club from the brink of Division 3 to their rightful place in the elite. In his first 3 months, Keegan pulled the Magpies away from the Division 2 relegation area. In the next season, they were promoted as champions. Now they're much respected members of the Premiership. To these fans, Keegan is king of St James's Park. He is the man to bring back the glory days of the early 50s, when the FA Cup resided at St James's Park for 3 years out of 5. The people of this part of the North East have never stopped supporting their team and never will. No one has the same deep passion for the game as the Geordies, the same pride as the folk from the Tyne. Here, they even erect statues to their footballing heroes. It's exactly 100 years since Newcastle were elected to Division 2 of the Football League. In that period, they've 4 times been champions, they've lifted the coveted FA Challenge Cup on 6 occasions and have played in 11 finals in all. Only Arsenal have played in more. In this video, we'll look at some of their greatest FA Cup matches, including 5 of those 6 finals going all the way back to 1910, and victory over Barnsley in a replay at Goodison Park, Everton. We'll also pay tribute to a host of Newcastle's all-time greats. But let's start by looking at last year's FA Cup, when it must be said Newcastle had greater goals on their mind, promotion to the Premier League. But this is a third-round match against Port Vale at St James's Park. Newcastle were soon in front, playing football that Kevin Keegan would be proud of. David Kelly testing Paul Musselwhite. He could only palm out the shot as far as Gavin Peacock, and he made it 1-0. Peacock involved at the start and finish of goal 2, bravely sticking his head in to keep possession for Newcastle, and he was in the right place for Liam O'Brien's through pass to slot the ball home. Newcastle's third goal wasn't long in coming, following a midfield display of football tennis. Robert Lee eventually muscling the defender Peter Swan off the ball and shooting past Musselwhite. "3-0 now, and Port Vale in disarray. Leon Song and displaying his full range of trickery. Musselwhite denying Peacock the hat-trick, but Kevin Sheedy on hand to make it 4 for Newcastle in the second half. A comfortable victory there, but not quite so easy in round 4 at Millmore, home of Rotherham United.
Rotherham in red might have been swamped in the first 15 minutes, found their balance and were then hit by a goal that started down Newcastle's left, source of all the trouble. Lee Clark's cross, Robert Lee's shot. It was what we'd expected, but it didn't give credit to Rotherham's tidy football. That was rewarded by Dean Barrick's free kick that rebounded just nicely for Nigel Johnson. And that means a replay at St James's Park.
Not a good cross. Bracewell, back again. So, good ball by Howard. It's in front of the man coming out, and that's an even better ball for Sean Gota. Wilder is inside him. Wilder now with a chance to score, and he's pulled it. Should have done better. Chris Wilder scored his first goal of the season against Hartlepool on Saturday. Was put in there at the end of the best move of the game. It's away by Johnson. And Gota giving chase. Started 2 yards down, made up 1, but it wasn't enough. Oh, he's been given the ball by Srinicek. Srinicek has tackled him back. Gota has beaten him. There's chaos here in the Newcastle penalty area, and Rotherham could not take advantage of it. Srinicek had a very nasty moment. Did enough. And just put Gota off his stride, and when the forward whipped it back into the penalty area, it fell Newcastle's rather than Rotherham's way. Peacock. Newcastle forced back to go forward. Now then. Kevin Keegan had banned all talk of Blackburn in the next round from the dressing room. But I'm sure now, as the seconds tick away, there'll be more than a few thoughts turning in that direction. One or two also in the direction of Marbella, where the Newcastle players will go for a 4-day break and may go there with a 2-0 victory if Clark keeps his head, which he does.
Victory in the replay, but a Roy Wegerle goal ended Newcastle's FA Cup interest in the 5th round at Ewood Park, Blackburn, leaving the Magpies free to concentrate on league business. One man who knew what it was like to lose in the FA Cup was United Scottish international keeper Jimmy Lawrence. He played in 5 finals and won just one in 1910. Jimmy played for Newcastle for 18 years in all, making a record 505 appearances. In a great career, he also won 3 championship medals. He died in 1934, aged 49. Back now to 1910 and that first FA Cup final victory, a replay at Goodison Park against Barnsley. The first match had finished 1 apiece. Victory at last for Newcastle United and Jimmy Lawrence. As holders, they made it 5 finals in 7 years, but must have felt that Crystal Palace was a bogey ground. Their 5 finals there produced 3 defeats and 2 draws. The team of 1911 that reached the final again were taken to a replay at Old Trafford, and there they eventually gave up their hold on the trophy, beaten by Bradford City with the only goal over 2 matches. Not many goals in the 1911 final, but in 1956 Craven Cottage saw a feast of goals as Newcastle visited Fulham in round 4. It also gave us a first glimpse of War Jackie Milburn wearing the number 7 shirt.
Corner to Newcastle, taken by Mitchell. It's a good one, and up goes Curry's head out to Milburn. 17 minutes gone. Newcastle take the lead with a goal by Milburn. Again to Milburn. Notice how they've got the Fulham defence running around 6s and 7s. Stoko. And up goes Keeble, but Black gets it this time. And now Casey. It's there. A goal by Casey. 25 minutes gone. It's 3-0. Of top-class form, and now his Chamberlain for Fulham, the side that has created this sensation by rattling the cup holders and now leading, now drawing 3-all. Chamberlain getting through. The goal, there's Jezard. It's a goal. It's Fulham have taken the lead. It's Jimmy Hill has equalised. 16 minutes to go.
In an era of great cup ties, this was one of the very best. In front of 39,000 people, Fulham coming from 3 down to lead 4-3 with less than 15 minutes to go. But the Magpies weren't finished yet, and as Fulham celebrated, somehow they found extra strength in the mud to come through. 5-4. United's goal scorers, Casey, Stoko, Keeble with 2, and most famous of all, Milburn. The great Jackie Milburn started his career as a winger, but he scored a hat-trick in his first match at number 9 and became the club's leading goal scorer 4 seasons running from 1947. A member of the famous family that was later to produce the Charlton brothers, Jackie became a free man of the city of Newcastle. On his death in 1988, they erected a statue in the town centre in his memory. The people's favourite memory is likely to be the 1951 FA Cup final, Newcastle United against Blackpool, the giants of the era.
Two of the folk heroes of modern football played that day, Stanley Matthews and Jackie Milburn. Could Matthews win the Cup Winners' Medal that had eluded him for 2 decades? He could not. The man of the match was the Newcastle centre-forward, Jackie Milburn. For all the midfield skills, there were no goals in the first half, and against expectation, the two defences had held. There was even briefly a hint of stalemate. Then, in the classic Newcastle fashion, out of defence to Milburn, an exchange with Robledo, and Milburn was gone. That goal really deserved the much-abused adjective great. Blackpool didn't give up by any means, and with Matthews constantly prompting them, they still gave the Newcastle defence some anxious moments. It was Newcastle who provided the real thrust. Their quick breaks out of defence were always dangerous, and Milburn scored the second and conclusive goal.
And Walker slips it along the ground to Taylor, and he backheels it to Milburn and shoots, and it's a goal, a terrific goal by Milburn.
His shot hit the net like a bullet. Those 2 Milburn goals may look ordinary in the record, but they thrilled in execution, and they destroyed the hopes of Blackpool and of Matthews.
The first of 3 cup wins in 5 years for Jackie Milburn in Newcastle. We shall see the other 2 later, but for now let's move on 20 years to look at some other great goals on the way to another Wembley final, the year 1974.
Header. Picked up by Fry. Summers is offside. Conversation then is with Tudor. There's McDonald. Used his head well then. Taking on Deadman. Right foot shot is on and a good one! Fine goal by Malcolm McDonald. And supposedly with his right foot. Inside Peter Deadman. There was double cover there, but the right foot shot finding the corner. Malcolm McDonald, the scorer. Few protests by Hendon about what, frankly, I'm not sure. Got 2 to find. Gibb, good save. John Swaddle keeping Hendon in the game and in the cup. As it's headed out, comes to Gibb. Swaddle coming forward, palms over the top. Got to go again, didn't quite make that fully, but just enough. Now Howard. Hibbett. Oh, yes! Oh, what a cracker. Tremendous drive in first time by Terry Hibbett. Comes to him from Pat Howard. 1 bounce, 2 bounces, woof. And Swaddle, I doubt if he ever saw it, right up into the roof. His gaze was following it in. So 2-0 to Newcastle, and they can now start breathing rather more easily. Time now, right next to the goalkeeper. 1 missed kick, and a corner
Terry McDermott's shot being flicked over off a defender. McDonald's off the post, but did he handle it? Yes, he did. Handled on the line, and so a penalty. The header from McDonald, and Gary Hand on the line, rather living up to his name. John Swannell's view, and Terry McDermott has been given the job of taking it. And Gary Hand being booked in spite of the appeals by Malcolm McDonald. Nothing. 67 minutes gone. 3-0 to Newcastle. Right up in the roof. Goalkeeper, in fact, moved before the kick was taken, went the right way, but never really anywhere near it. United, that is. There's Tudor. Gibb, bit of Deadman behind him, well used to Kennedy. Tudor. So John Tudor moves into double figures for the season. That's his 10th goal. Good running by Kennedy. The pace took him past Fry. And the cross coming to Tudor. So 79 minutes and 4-0. Santello, wild square, Johnson on the touchline. Well read by Cassidy. Break should be right with McDermott. Tudor forward in the inside right position. McDonald in the centre forward position, just left of the penalty spot. Pulling away, here's McDonald! They lost him. Where did he go? Albion will be asking. McDonald getting away from the cover. The cross, a true one, and the header beating Peter Latchford. The news of Terry Hibbert is that he has a groin injury. Sort of injury which can take some little time to get better. Clark thinking that the cross was going to be made. Moncur has done a lot of tidying. Smith, who's done everything well right from the moment he came on. McDonald, Tudor, Barraclough. What a time to get the second goal. The move down the left. Smith, McDonald, Tudor, and finally Barraclough. So 2-0 to Newcastle, exactly the score by which West Bromwich Albion went out in this round last season when they lost to Leeds United. McDermott, Tudor, another chance. Smith, Clark. What a good ball to Barraclough. Tudor! Beautifully worked. John Tudor, the scorer. A great ball put through to Barraclough. The cross and Tudor's header. And 3-0.
So it's Jim Barron with the goal kick for Nottingham Forest. One in the air by Smith for Newcastle, and that's put MacDonald away. Surely he was fouled, but he still scores. Malcolm MacDonald, who's missed so many chances in this tie, finally puts Newcastle ahead after 31 minutes. MacDonald, and he was fouled there, but he's still going on. Fine save, Stevenson. Still MacDonald, and he's got it. Newcastle in front, and Malcolm MacDonald the scorer. Time now for those supporters to celebrate. That was Keith Newton. Burnley putting on some pressure now, getting back into things. Away by first Moncur, then Tudor. Now it's Hibbett, and MacDonald's made a run through the middle, and he might be too quick for them again. MacDonald against Thompson, and that's the second one for MacDonald and for Newcastle. His pace was too much for the Burnley defence. This time it was Thompson who was trying to stop him, but MacDonald was too fast, and he finished up by pushing the ball through Stevenson's legs.
Cassidy, Superback Malcolm MacDonald, Alan Kennedy, the teenage fullback, Jim Smith, Scottish international, and in the Scottish party for the World Cup. Frank Clark and John Tudor together, and little Terry Hibbett bringing up the rear. Shanks' army, this Liverpool side, swarming forward now. Hall. Keegan! Goals pay the rent, and Keegan does his share. Interesting that Joe Harvey is thinking of making the substitution, but Terry Hibbett, in fact, since that first half knock, perhaps really hasn't been himself. Good flick by Toshak to Highway. Could this be two? Yes! Callahan's available behind Keegan. Beautiful ball to Smith. He didn't have to move to get it. Paul to Smith. Highway, Liverpool showing their party pieces. He wasn't offside. Smith. Yes! Keegan second. And Newcastle were undressed.
Another good cup run for Newcastle in 1976.
Seemingly having a word about it and then organising the wall. Phil Parkes obviously wants it further over. He's not going to get it. Tommy Craig might have a crack. Looks for Natris. And turned in. Alan Gowling has broken a sequence which has gone on, in fact, for so long. That's his first goal in 13 games. A mistake by Phil Parkes. And Alan Gowling puts Newcastle ahead. From the free kick, Tommy Craig putting it wide to Natris. Natris got hold of it well, may have got a slight deflection. Parkes had it, lost it, and Gowling reacted quickest. Hollins, Francis. It's a question of who keeps his patience the better, really, between these two sides. Rangers in building, Newcastle in defending. And in by Masson. John Masson, no more than a half chance, and that picture tells a story. John Masson tying it up at one each from the long clearance down by David Webb. As the ball came down in the box, Masson killed it with the right foot, hit it with the left, and it looked as though it might well have been turned past the keeper by Craig and Nulty there together. But Masson will get the credit, and Bird getting him around the shoulders. Free kick given. Stan Bowles. Hollins. Height and distance on that header from Craig. Here's Clement. Craig again. McDonald in the chase with McClintock, who's matching him. They're queuing up in the middle now. And Burns! Oh! Turned over with his hands, I think, and a penalty it is indeed. Burns denied. McDonald's cross. Burns with a good header. And the goalkeeper saved by David Webb. So Tommy Craig from the penalty spot. Cracking drive. Parks with no chance at all. Hit very much harder than Stan Bowles' effort earlier on. That's the way to put them away. And it might be the decisive lesson that remains to be seen. The right foot alongside the ball, kept right out of Parks' reach.
That struck Craven. McDonald. It was a good ball to Mickey Burns. Really opened up the play, that did. Gowling is through the middle. Nolte has pushed forward as well. Here's Natras. Cassidy. Oh, Gowling is on! Alan Gowling's 20th goal of the season. And his 7th in the last 5 and a bit games. No wonder those fans are delighted. A simple enough move. It was pulled back by Burns to Natras, to Cassidy square, through to Gowling. The defender wasn't quick enough, and Gowling put it away in the corner. Play allowed to go. This is Craven. Cartwright can try again. Coop. Murphy! The youngster puts Coventry level, and just look at those supporters. It's been a long time coming, but they kept trying, and now they've got there. Mick Coop with the cross. Murphy ran to the near post. For once, Newcastle's marking was not good, and Murphy's header makes it 1-1.
That was Cassidy, now Gowling. Good ball. Oh, Holmes is beaten. This is Burns, and King is beaten too. Well taken goal by Mickey Burns. Newcastle still piling on the pressure. That was Craig with the throw. Coventry surviving, but not too comfortably. Cassidy very much involved. So is McDonald, and Gowling's in the middle for that, and it's 2-0. Gowling. This is Craig. And that's the sort of ball that McDonald likes, and the defence is beaten. They won't catch him now. McDonald looks for number 3 and gets it. Oh, he's ended the Barron run now as McDonald. Burns has tormented Coventry down the flanks as well. He's got Nolte in the middle waiting for the cross. There's Nolte, and King stops it, but McDonald scores. His second and Newcastle's 4th. Through the legs of the referee. Right to the last, Coventry under pressure. Haven't helped themselves with 1 or 2 mistakes at the back, and there's another one allowing Cassidy to use his pace and go through. King right out. And what a good finish to the move and to the match from Tommy Cassidy.
Ritson at the back. Well taken by Gary Jones, looking for Watmore. Thompson, Barham in the middle. Teasing them. Oh, a beautiful goal! Really fine goal from a lovely bit of teasing play. And it's Sam Allardyce who put it in. Allardyce, the scorer. 5 minutes gone and the Bolton crowd going mad and total silence at the Newcastle end. Really teasing piece of play by Thompson. Allardyce, who stayed up on the far post, got up to steer it wide of Mike Mahoney. Barham. Cassidy. That's found McDonald in space. They were caught out then, Bolton, and McDonald makes them pay for it. Oh, what a typical Newcastle goal. The concentration gone. Jones and Allardyce caught. McDonald set free by Cassidy, and suddenly everything that Bolton had built has been destroyed. 32 minutes gone, 1-1. Great ball, you could see the words then on McDonald's mouth. Great ball, he said to Cassidy, and indeed it was. He saw the danger, but then took his eye off the ball as McDonald came down, with jaws open, no doubt. McDonald's, good try! Oh, what a goal! What a brilliant goal! Magnificent! And with the right foot too! A superbly hit that sends that lot into complete and utter ecstasy and leaves Siddle wondering where it came from. We were already into the 44th minute of the half. Barham making the movement. And Mahoney not getting that away well. Allardyce. Reed. Doing the different thing. They were calling the other way. The goalkeeper coming in again. Greaves his shot. And in by Gary Jones. Unbelievable mess up for Newcastle. They were all at sea, and Bolton are all delight. Gary Jones left with a simple job of side-footing it home after Greaves had found the ball at his feet and his shot had been partly deflected. Mahoney not sure where he was, and neither did his defenders. Craig. Kennedy's made a forward run, took a defender out and created some room for Burns. Cassidy again with a shooting chance, looking instead for Barraclough. Gowling! Really well-made goal, and Alan Gowling the scorer. Nice build-up, there were two possible passes then. Barraclough was coming in from the right, and instead the ball slipped through to Alan Gowling. They looked for the flag, but it wasn't forthcoming. And Gowling gives Newcastle the 5th goal of the match. Allardyce poised to make his run, and coming in on it, but Jones won it! Paul Jones! Had the wider run, Jones came in front of him, and unbelievably we're back to all square. 84 minutes gone. 3-3. A set-piece goal, another header from a man at the back. Allardyce was wide, Jones was in the middle, met it true, and it got through the crowd. Allardyce. Natras. Touched by Gowling to Barraclough. And setting up the chance for Burns. Siddall to meet him, and Burns puts it in. Mick Burns. 14 minutes gone. Mickey Burns the scorer, but Barraclough getting the greater congratulations. And it was Barraclough's run across the field that made it. Really good run. Got past two men, able to push it through to Mick Burns. The goalkeeper came to narrow the angle, but Burns slotting it to the far corner. Craig. Burns, Cassidy forward. Keeley making a run out to the right. Number 5, good ball. And here is Gowling. Very well made goal. Alan Gowling, the man that the Bolton manager took from Manchester United to Huddersfield, would like to have taken him to Bolton, has probably knocked his old boss out of the FA Cup. Keeley seen on the right, and Gowling deflecting a subtle header past Siddall. Byram. Well played by Gary Jones, and still, oh, what a good goal! Really a very, very good goal.
7 matches took United to the 6th round, where they lost 4-2 to Derby at the baseball ground. The campaign of 77 ended in round 4 after this 3rd round replay victory.
Nattras's free kick after only 7 minutes leads to the first goal. As Brown punches out, Craig meets it, and the ball gets back through the crowd. It was Nattras as well who started the move that produced the second goal. He acted while Sheffield forwards hesitated, and the speed of his break left the Sheffield midfield for lost. When the ball comes through to Burns, you can see how much the defence is stretched. He takes on Cahoon and finishes very well. The third goal in the second half was McCaffrey's first for Newcastle.
One player from the 70s who's a must for our Hall of Fame, Super Mac. We've just seen his goal-scoring ability. He scored in every round of the 1974 run to Wembley, except for the final. His hat-trick on a Gallagate debut in the 3-0 win over Liverpool assured his place in the Tynesiders' hearts. His first league club had been Fulham, where he signed as a fullback, and it was by accident that the London club discovered his scoring talents. But at number 9, he made his fame, the club's leading scorer in his first 4 seasons at Newcastle United. The number 9 shirt for Newcastle has always seemed imbued with a magical quality. Another famous centre-forward we cannot ignore, the legendary Hughie Gallagher. In his 5 seasons at the club, he was leading goal-scorer each time. His 39 goals in the Championship season of 26-27, still a club record. It was Hughie's last season that produced his best cup run, United reaching the 6th round, and 2 years later, they went on to win the trophy for the 3rd time.
Arsenal were favourites, but the cup has often made the form book bankrupt. Still, Arsenal scored first when a right-wing centre was headed in by Bob John. Then it happened. Davidson's long ball to the goal line was chased by Richardson and hooked back for Allen to head in as Arsenal pulled up. Was the ball over the goal line before Richardson centred? This film demonstrates that it was, the whole of the ball. The goal that wasn't had equalised. From this angle, impossible to tell. Referees and linesmen, being human, are fallible. That's what makes them so lovable. Arsenal reacted with mature restraint, but the shock was harsh. From now on, the game slipped away from them. Allen had been a debatable choice at centre-forward for Newcastle, but he justified himself. This closer look shows how, as Newcastle took charge, Allen made time and space to beat Moss for his second and the winning goal. So the cup went to Newcastle 2-1. And that most disputed goal in cup final history was by no means the end of their luck at Wembley.
That Wembley luck was not to be seen again until the Chilean-born George Robledo became a fixture in United's lineup. He scored almost 100 goals in 4 seasons, including the winner in 1952, again against Arsenal, and it kept the cup at St James's Park.
For the Prime Minister, who came onto the field to meet the teams, this occasion was a novel experience. And that must be a rare pleasure for such an experienced man as Winston Churchill. The two Joes met for the toss-up, Mercer and Harvey. Mercer won it for Arsenal. Jackie Milburn kicked off for Newcastle, and 100,000 voices got going as well as the players. It was while Newcastle were putting on the pressure that any luck Arsenal had left over was lost. Wally Barnes was injured. This brought Tom Whittaker, Arsenal's manager, into the picture. First aid for Wally's knee, but in vain. After half an hour of the match, he was out of it. Newcastle continued to drive ahead against the Gunners' team of 10 men, and soon George Swindon was being put through it. Mitchell, Newcastle's left winger, came dribbling in, beating one man after another and looked a certain scorer. But no, he lost his chance. Still, soon afterwards, he sent it to George Robledo, who headed the goal of the match. Churchill was there to present the cup, and he presented it.
1955, and United again at Wembley, their third final in 5 years, and it took just 50 seconds for War Jackie to put them on the road to victory.
Milburn. There! There's little Joe Hayes. Revy, Johnston, Fagan, Stocko out to Paul, back to Johnston, Johnston to Hayes, Johnston, it's there! Hannah to Schooler. White, number 7. Mitchell, it's there. Mitchell. Hannah. There's Hannah, number 10, the scorer, making it 3-1 for Newcastle after 57 minutes. And Jimmy Schooler, Her Majesty. There's the Stanley Rouse beside her. There it is, Newcastle. I think all the trouble's been about since last September.
Joe Harvey captained his side for all 8 of his playing years at St James's Park, leading United to the 51 and 52 cup victories and assisting as coach in the last triumph in 1955. Joe was offered a 12-month trial as manager in 1962 and stayed in the job for 13 years, winning promotion in 65 and lifting the European Fairs Cup in 69. He also led United back to Wembley as a manager for the 74 final when United lost to Liverpool. As we have seen, that 74 final defeat was orchestrated by the son of a Geordie, Kevin Keegan, who 10 years later left Newcastle a hero, having led by example on the field. In his first season, 82-83, United finished 5th in Division 2. The following season, they finished 3rd and were promoted to Division 1. In 2 seasons, Kevin had revitalised the club on the field, and with his ambition fulfilled, he retired in 1984 to live in Marbella, His last league match for the Magpies was against Brighton.
How appropriate that for the final time as a league captain, Kevin Keegan should be shaking hands with an old teammate and an old pal. Jimmy Case, they were together in the European Cup final winning side in 1977 at Liverpool, sharing a joke, and also that presentation made on behalf of Brighton, and hardly room for the coin to make the toss. An enormous kick by Kevin Carr, but Pearce was right underneath it. Anderson now for Newcastle. The crowd willing this goal. Keegan, Beardsley, Waddle. It's hit the post and Keegan! He's done it! Courtesy of the upright, Kevin Keegan has signed on with a goal. That's what the Geordies wanted. Keegan gets his 28th goal of the season. He it was who helped it on to Beardsley. Waddle's shot tipped against the post. Keegan on hand to snatch it. 1-0 to Newcastle United, and the fairy tale ending is on its way to being complete. Case for Brighton. First time ball, a good one. On it goes towards Ryan. And what a mistake by the defender. Roda slipped as the ball was played in by Alan Young. Ryan had the easiest job of all to slot it into the net and bring the score back level again. Newcastle won, Brighton won. Roda admitting that it was his mistake, his slip, which opened up such an easy opportunity for Jerry Ryan. Truick. In it comes again to Keegan. And a fine cross to Waddle. Oh, yes! Keegan proves, as he has done so often through his career, he's not just a scorer of goals, he's a creator too. An immaculate twist and cross by Keegan from the left, and how well Waddle rose to head it in off the foot of the post. So Keegan scored one and made one for this boy, and Newcastle are back in front, 2-1. Carney with the clearance. Getting with a spectacular attempt to clear, but it drops for Beardsley. And Keegan, and Beardsley again, and Beardsley still. Oh, magnificent! What a great goal by Peter Beardsley! And that is rounding it off in style, and Kevin Keegan would have been proud of that one himself. What a great goal. Everyone in this ground are on their feet. Beardsley showing magnificent skill when it looked as though the chance had gone. Keegan fed in. Eric Young with the tackle. It looked as though it had gone away from him. What presence of mind he showed to just lift the ball over Joe Corrigan and into the net. Well, that's one of the best goals I've seen for a very long time. The crowd have forgotten the game now. They're just providing a fitting farewell to Kevin Keegan. Roda back to Wharton. Up it goes towards Keegan. Case gets there first, and that's the final whistle and the final chapter in one of the most remarkable and moving stories in English football history. Kevin Keegan, after 16 years and 500 league games, has rounded off his career in the style which literally made him the hero and the great player he is. Everyone in St James's Park standing to applaud their congratulations. The Brighton players going to shake Keegan's hand, and the Newcastle players too, playing their part in these scenes of great emotion. Everyone in the stand on their feet now. The photographers, as usual, surrounding the little man with the familiar number 7 jersey, and Kevin Keegan, who's graced the game, says farewell.
We now know that there would be a second coming of Kevin Keegan, but how fitting that the scorers in that Brighton match should be Keegan, Beardsley and Waddle. Guided by Keegan, Beardsley and Waddle became stars in their own right. But as Keegan retired, a new name, Gascoigne, was about to emerge at Gallowgate.
Before Beardsley and Waddle, there was a legend, the great Jackie Milburn. Now a football journalist, Jackie has watched Paul's progress with great excitement and believes all the praise is justified.
Oh, and he deserves it. I think it's about 35 years since I've seen a kid as good as what this lad is. And I just can't believe the skills of him. He's got everything, everything. He's got a couple of faults, man. But 2.5 years ago, I wrote, after I saw him in the youth team, that this fellow was the next England captain who would take over from Bob Robson, and I still believe it. And since then, he just went on and on and on, and his skills is absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. Sticks out a mile. And he'll tell you so as well, you know.
Because he's a confident lad.
Oh, confident. He's like Malcolm MacDonald. I think whether it's confidence or they've got to say things to give themselves confidence, I don't know. But last year we were struggling in the first division and could have been relegated, and Gaza was missing for a few weeks. And after one game he says, "Oh, all right, Jack," he says, "I'm back next week, we're safe." And mind we were, because we did very well the last 8 or 9 games, but it was him that kept us in the first division.
In the meantime, the Gascoigne skills are beginning to illuminate the first division. Paul's also a character. He plays up to the fans. But he's also becoming a marked man. Witness Vinnie Jones' own idea of close marking. But has he always been football mad?
Definitely, you know, I think you go back when I was young, when I was 7 in the park, you know. I used to play football all the time, and I think it's something I've always lived for.
And a Newcastle fan as well?
I never used to watch football much. I think I was too busy playing. But I watched Newcastle a couple of times on the television. You know, I think I still remember when they were putting goals past you, but...
Any heroes or idols along the road?
Obviously, everyone used to talk about Mark MacDonald when he was at Newcastle, some great goals he used to score and that.
Barraclough's cross, MacDonald! Well, how did he get in there?
There's no holding him. He's the best in the world. Honestly, the best in the world.
Like Beardsley and Waddle, Newcastle could not hold on to Gascoigne. £2 million from Tottenham Hotspur in July 1988 persuaded the lovable Geordie to move south and then on to Lazio in Italy. Let's now take in a few more goals and memories from the FA Cup in recent years.
Blackhall.
Naturus did that well. Blackhall on the run still. Gowling is calling for a cross. And it was driven straight in! Blackhall! Ray Blackhall! From out there you wouldn't have expected that. The ball seemed to completely deceive Dai Davis as it was struck in, and Ray Blackhall makes it 2-1 for Newcastle.
Inspired by Mirandinha on one of his good days, Newcastle might have had an early equaliser. But Glenn Roeder was thwarted by Tony Coton, who has a lot of good days. However, Kevin Brock, who's at his 3rd club under manager Jim Smith, did equalise. His 2nd goal for Newcastle since his transfer from Queen's Park Rangers. The rest was a tale of penalties. Nigel Gibbs couldn't complain too much at being found guilty of this one. Mirandinha happily drove home his 1st goal since October and made for the Newcastle fans to start the celebrations.
At St James's Park, a far more positive Newcastle performance. Early on, Aitken surged down the right and Mark McGee puts Newcastle ahead after 11 minutes. 8 minutes later, virtually a repeat. Aitken the provider again, this time a chip. McGee at the far post again, his 15th goal of the season. Well, Steve Francis in the Reading goal prevented a rout, but 68 minutes, a third Newcastle goal, set up by substitute David Robinson. And Mick Quinn there, his 25th goal of the season. Reading pulled one back 3 minutes from time, a Stuart Bevan corner and a Trevor Senior header. But Newcastle weren't finished. John Gallagher, whose mistake at Reading set up the replay, he provided the cross, and David Robinson his first goal for the club. Newcastle 4, Reading 1. Next round, Manchester United at home.
On a year to 1991. In the third round, United making full use of home advantage against Derby County. Mickey Quinn on target here. For a while, he looked like he'd become the latest famous wearer of the number 9 shirt. Steve Watson instrumental in the second goal, his surging run from the back ending at the edge of the box to earn a free kick. No escape for Derby though. Mark Stimson powering it through the wall and past the great Peter Shilton for 2-0.
He is the nearest to goal, and cross he comes, didn't tell his defender, and as a result, Quinn scores. Bit of conversation goes on between goalkeeper and defenders. There'll be no sympathy around St James's Park for either, only delight at a goal scored by Mick Quinn. Came for the ball through the crowd, Walker went up with him, and Quinn just had to nod the head and guide the ball in. Long throw from Watson, enormous distance, and the goalkeeper really was never there. Oh, he's got room for a good cross now, and it's a good one on the near post, and McGee makes it 2-0. Well, they've waited so long for this match at St James's Park. It was scheduled originally for January the 28th, and the start has put the crowd in dreamland. It was a good cross, had a lot of space, goalkeeper came for it, didn't get there, McGee beat him to it.
A year after that goal by Mark McGee, the return of Kevin Keegan as manager, lured back into the game by Sir John Hall.
I'd like to now introduce you to the new manager of Newcastle United. He's well known to you all, and he's well known to the people in the region, and we take great pleasure in introducing him to you now. And I'd like, if you would come through the doors, please. Kevin Keegan.
Well, first of all, I'd just like to say it's nice to be back. Feel like I've come home. Happy?
Kevin?
I just want to give them the very best I can. And I've got a chairman now and a board of directors who believe in the same things as me. We're not exactly the same. We don't eat, sleep, drink the same sort of things. But we both maybe got one ambition, and that is, A, to be successful. Because the chairman of this football club has been a tremendous success in the business world. And I've not had many failures in my career. And I don't want the first one to be here. And there's never a better time to take a club over than when it's down. Now this club, we've never given these people here, even the side in '84 that they talk about still, it wasn't good enough for this club. That was only a side getting out of the second division into the first division as it was then. And that is not success for a club like this.
Keegan, a born winner, inheritor of a great tradition. It's so far so good in the quest to bring back the silverware to Tyneside.